In this video, we are going to see the reasons for growth of delegated legislation. These reasons are quite similar to the reasons for growth of administrative law. Now let us see them. First important reason is the pressure on Parliament. The bulk of the business of Parliament has been increased nowadays, and there is no time for consideration for each and every matter to the Parliament. Most of the time of the Parliament is devoted to the political and policy matters, and hence due to the pressure of work to be completed in a limited time, Parliament enact laws in the form of general outline and empowers the executives to fill the details. Certain matters are covered by the delegated legislation are of technical nature, which require handling by experts, and hence our second reason is lack of expertise. In some cases, it is inevitable that the powers to deal with the matters is given to the appropriate administrative agencies according to the requirement of the subject matters. Parliament, though comprises of best politicians, it may not include the experts in various spheres of life. Next reason is to tackle unforeseen circumstances. Parliament, while deciding upon a certain course of action, cannot foresee the difficulties which may be encountered in its execution. Accordingly, various statutes contain a removal of difficulty clause empowering the administration to remove such difficulties by exercising the powers of making rules and regulations. These clauses are always so worded that very wide powers are given to the administration. Fourth reason is emergency. Speedy and appropriate action is required during certain emergency conditions, and as Parliament cannot act so quickly because of its political nature, the delegated legislation has been arisen. Sometimes it becomes needful to modify defective rules, regulations and orders, and hence to make the law flexible, the practice of delegated legislation has been introduced. The next reason is the facility for experimentation. Utility of law can be understood through an experience. Delegated legislation can be made for the sake of experiment to check the profitability of the law. Maintenance of secrecy with respect to the laws can also be proven as a contributory factor towards the inevitability of delegated legislation, especially when there is absolute necessity to maintain secrecy, such as due to the reasons of national importance, for example defense, etc. The last point we are going to discuss is the complexity of the modern administration. Due to the complexity of the modern administration and improved or the expanded sphere of the functions of the state from social to economic, it has become necessary to resort to new form of legislations and to give wide powers to various authorities on suitable occasions. From all this discussion, we may conclude that because of the change in the philosophy as to the role to be played by the state, its functions have been increased, and consequently delegated legislation has become essential and inevitable, and the persons who administer the law are in closer contact with the local problems and in better position to work out the specific regulations which would be best to attain the legislative goal. This justifies the growth of the delegated legislation.